Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge. I am Clary, and I'm going to be your host until September 27th. Nice to see so many people in the chat. Axel, Sam, Ricardo, Mark, Keita, Aurelia. Hope to see everyone's names right. Paco is here and also in the chat with us. Naman. Nice to see you guys. Good morning. Good morning if you are in the US. At the moment, I'm in San Francisco. Hi, Lucia. I'm live from the Adobe Live studio in the gorgeous San Francisco, California. Today is a very beautiful day. And good evening if you're in the UK or in any part of Europe. As you guys probably know, I'm Italian, but I live in Manchester. So I want to just give a big shout out to everyone in the UK. Mark, thank you so much. So those are real cloudy hair with no green anymore. We'll see what happens next week if I want to get creative again. But for now, let's stay creative with Photoshop and let's start this project. Today we're going to play with a selfie. But before we get started in Photoshop, I want to direct everyone that it wasn't with us in the previous day to the main landing page for the challenges. So in order to join the challenges, make sure to go on behance.net/challenge/Photoshop and you'll head on this landing page. So all you have to do is click on this big blue button here where it says take the challenge in order to join the challenge, get notification and access the challenges below. As you can see, today we are on challenge number 3. If you missed the previous one, don't worry, you can go back and watch the video and you still have access to the file to get started. You can use the file that I provided for you guys or you can use your own. It doesn't matter. But if you really want to follow along, you have everything here in this main page. Now, the next challenges are still top secret, so you're going to have to follow us day by day in order to unveil them together. Today, to get started, I provided a file that you can download by pressing here on Get Started. And for those of you who are not already with us on the community chat, which is Discord, you can access the chat and the community by clicking here on the community chat link. I strongly advise to do so because that's the beauty, one of the main beauty of joining the challenges. You get connected with people from all over the world and we learn together. So let's see how Discord looks like. Again, guys, when I click on the link, I have this page simply because I've downloaded the app. You can download the app both on your laptop, on your desktop, or on your mobile. Sometimes when I review your work, I'm actually from my mobile traveling on a train. And that's how Discord looks like. So Discord is just a chat client that we use in the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge in order to review work, share tips. As you can see here on the column on the left, you have all these different challenges. Current challenge are the everything posts and chat and images relevant to the challenges that we're doing day by day. So you can see that was day 1. Now we have day 2. By the way, guys, I've seen what you've done for day 2. That's so exciting. I'm so happy that you pushed it forward. Those collages are really surreal, really fun. Well done, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and give some more feedback today at the end of the day. I love that you guys have actually used the images that I provided to you and change it and create something so fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So once you post your images here, you can have feedback from the mentor. You can see I'm there, Sam, Temi, or Tim. Or also you have all the community. So today, again, over 1,000 people that are live now. And the beauty is that there is always someone hanging out in the chat because it's a worldwide community. So it doesn't matter if you are in Europe, in America, there is always someone to chat with. And you can also do so in the chat channel where you can, get to know each other and talk about design. Again, I know that I've said this before, but this is a safe space. Don't be shy, ask questions, share your work. It's helpful not only for you, but also for other people in the community that want to learn more. So today I've got a lot of exciting things to show you, a lot of exciting tools. We're going to have fun and create some amazing work, learning new techniques and hopefully sharpening some skills in Photoshop. These new challenge is also super approachable from beginners, but also you will see how much you can push it further if you are an advanced Photoshop user. So let's get started and open Photoshop. And once you open Photoshop over here, we're gonna open the file. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open the file. Mine is on my little Daily Creative Challenge folder. Of course, for yours, you're gonna go in your download folder or wherever you placed it in your on your desktop, on your laptop. We have an artistic selfie starter. There we go. So that's what you guys should be looking at. It's an Adobe stock photo, and it's gonna have the watermark unless you license it. Now, I wanted to provide this image so you guys can work with me, but the reason why the challenge is called Selfie is because ideally, I would love to see your faces. So I strongly encourage you to use your face or some friend face in order to play with this challenge today. I'm gonna head in my libraries because I've actually already licensed this image. So I can use the full resolution one, and I'm gonna start with my licensed image already. You can license it directly from the library, or again, use your Selfie. It's gonna be so much fun. So in order to get started, I'm gonna double click on the background and call it before and press OK. And then I'm gonna use the tool that we learned yesterday. So is the quick selection tool. You can find that on the toolbar over here. And I'm just gonna select the face because that's what I'm really interested in. I'm gonna look at the chat to see if there is any question. Aurelia, you already did your selfie. I really look forward to see it on Discord. Kira, of course I wanna see your face. I promise I'm gonna do one with my selfie as well, and I'm gonna put it on Discord if you guys do so as well. Deal? Anna, nice to see you. Alberto, Lois, Melinda, thank you so much for joining, guys. So let's get our hands dirty on Photoshop. So I'm gonna go ahead and again, I've just selected my quick selection tool from the toolbar over here. And I'm gonna click on my photo in order to select just the face area. Done. So that's like less than 3 seconds and I already created a selection. I'm making sure that I'm on my layer. I'm gonna go ahead and click a layer mask by pressing this button here under the layer panel. And I'm gonna click add layer mask. Just very briefly, if you guys want to work with the same workspace that I have here with the panels, go back on the introduction day because I already explained how to save it so we can work with the same panels in the same structure. And if you moved your panels, remember you can go up here, click and reset your workspace here. So of course, feel free to use whatever you want. You don't have to use the one that I use in order to achieve the result. It's just to make the workflow smoother and while working together. So here we go. We have our little selfie photo here with the face. And if you wanna, as you can see, there are a little bit of jittered edges here. If you wanna fix very quickly, again, I'm not gonna spend too much time refining, but you're very welcome to do so in your own time. I'm gonna put the focus, so this white outline, on the mask by clicking on the mask. And then I'm gonna press B to trigger the brush, making sure that my foreground is on black. So I'm gonna press X from my keyboard to switch the background and foreground color here. I'm gonna go ahead and, I'm gonna press Command Z to undo this. I'm just gonna go ahead and go around the edge in order to conceal all the jittered edges, or if you wanna bring in and reveal some pixel from the mask, I'm gonna press X again, and with the white, remember, white reveal, black conceal, I'm just gonna go around the mask. Another very quick method that we learned during challenge number 1 is to hold Shift. You can do that with any brushes, anytime they use a brush. So if you click and press Shift and then click again, Photoshop is gonna create a stroke from the 2 clicks. So that's a very quick method to cover area using a stroke by holding Shift. So again, I'm not gonna go ahead and refine this even more. That's more than enough for what we're gonna be playing with today. I'm gonna add now a background layer to give it a color. I do so by creating a fill layer So I'm gonna click here on the adjustment layer and press solid color. I'm gonna use something like a blue. That's actually my favorite color over here. I'm gonna use it in the background. I'm gonna put it below the face layer. So just simply drag it underneath. Then I'm gonna go ahead and create a duplicate on my face by pressing Command J, and I'm gonna move it a little bit more in the middle here and press return. Of course, guys, to move it, I pressed Command T. I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit fast here, but I really want to show you some amazing feature of Photoshop today. I'm gonna click on the layer below, just this little icon here to hide the visibility of the layer below. So here we go, we're left just with one floating head. I'm gonna have a quick look at the chat to see if there is any question. Yeah, handsome man, of course, everyone picks always like ladies, so I thought, why not? It's good to change. But ideally, guys, I would love for you to use your selfie. That's gonna be so fun for everyone. And I promise I'm gonna use mine as well, and I'm gonna put it on Discord. So sorry, my screen keeps triggering my desktop, but here we go. We're back on Photoshop. We made a copy of the selection, and I'm gonna create a smart object by pressing Control, clicking on the layer, and convert the layer into a smart object. Remember, when we use a smart object, we allow them to go back and refine the selection. So even if you wanna follow with me fast, by creating a smart object, you'll be able to go back and refine your mask afterwards, simply by double clicking here on the layer mask. But let's move forward. What I'm gonna do now is probably show you the final result so you have an idea of what I'm doing, what I'm working towards. The final result for today is, there we go, is this. So this is what we're looking to create. We're gonna slice the selfie and we're gonna use our face as a vase for flowers. In the folder, you also have the flower, which already PNG that we can use, and you're welcome to use for your selfie. But I really wanted to show you this because now we're gonna start to slice the face. So you have an idea what we're working towards too. So once we have the smart object, I'm gonna grab the lasso tool and I'm gonna create my first selection by clicking and dragging on my smart object. And I'm gonna press, once the selection is loaded with the little marching hands, making sure that my face is selected, I go ahead and click on the layer mask to create a first layer mask. And then I'm gonna go ahead on the properties panel and click on invert down here to invert the selection. And we go, the first top of the head is gone. And now we're gonna have to work and separate the bottom. So again, always with my lasso tool, I'm gonna create the bottom selection in order to cut it out. And with the focus on the mask layer over here, I'm gonna fill it with black in order to hide it. So now we have the middle part. Let's go back and bring the bottom part in a separate layer. We do so by Command J, copying the layer, and with the mask on focus over here, I'm gonna invert the selection. I'm gonna trigger off the visibility of the layer below so it's not confusing, just by clicking on the little eye icon. And when I'm on the top mask, I don't really need the top of the head, so all I have to do is go ahead and select this area and paint it in black. Again, I painted in black by using Command and Delete because that's my background color. If you have the black on the front, you can use Option Delete to fill the area that you have selected. So see if there is any question. Man with no brain, yes, we're gonna put flowers, we want flowers. So I'm gonna press Command D to deselect, and I'm gonna activate the other side, and now I'm just gonna simply press Command and T in order to transform the layer, and I'm just gonna move it down and maybe just tilt it a bit to make it a little bit more fun. And I'm gonna do the same with the other layer. Click on the layer, press on Command T to transform, and I'm just gonna move it around like so, maybe a little bit up. Now, this is where some Photoshop magic comes into play. I really wanna work with a smart objects. So that's the reason why I'm using the mask on the smart object, because I've always wanna, if I wanna change the color of the face, or if I wanna change the mask, I can always go back and do that by simply clicking on this smart object, and I only have to do it once to affect top and bottom. So that's the reason why I'm working like that. I'm working smarter with Photoshop. But there is the need of having the selection, and here I don't have a real cutout of the intersected piece. And that's where the intersected selection comes into play. I'm gonna show you this feature on a new document. You guys don't have to repeat this, it's just for you to have an idea what I'm doing. So I'm gonna press Command-N to create a new document. It really doesn't matter what document I'm using, it's just to explain a little bit how selection work. So if I create a selection just like so, and then I hold Shift always with my marquee tool here selected from the toolbar. If I press Shift, as you guys probably already know, and go over, I am adding a selection. When if I add, if I want to subtract, I have to press on Alt or Option on the Mac, and you see we have a little minus there, and there we go, we are subtracting from the selection. But what happens if we want like the middle part, the intersection? Well, in that case, always with our marquee tool selected, we press Shift and Alt at the same time. And look what happened. I'm just gonna zoom in on my little arrow here. So if we press Shift, we have a plus, we're adding. If we press Alt, we are subtracting. If we press Shift and Alt together, we have an X, because we're intersecting the area. So I'm gonna go back so you guys can see the full picture here. I'm gonna press Shift and Option together. And here we go. We only select the intersected area. I think that's a very, very cool feature of Photoshop, and it's gonna help us to load just the middle part. So as we did before, making sure that our any selection tool is loaded, we go on our layer, we press Command and click on the layer to load the main selection. And then we're gonna do the same that we did here. By hovering on the mask, we hold Shift and Option and Command in order to load. And you can see we have our little marching ant square with the X. And let me show you on the full picture what happens. Only the middle selection get intersected between the mask and the original image. So I hope you guys enjoy this, but I'm gonna take it a step further. So you can actually save this selection so you don't have to do this over and over again. And you do so by going on Select on the top menu and click on Save Selection. I'm gonna give it a name, and I'm gonna call it Middle, and I'm gonna press OK. And I'm gonna do the same with the bottom. So again, Command and click on the layer to get the main selection, and then move with hovering on the mask, Shift, Option, Command, and click, and here we go. We only have the intersection between the main selection and the mask. And I'm gonna save this in a different way. I'm gonna actually go on my channel panel, just here next to the layer panel, and I'm gonna click on a new layer, just down here at the bottom, and I'm gonna fill this in white by pressing Option Delete, because white is here on my foreground color. Now, in order to have both together, because if we want to put flower inside, maybe some flower or the stem will be covered by both. All I have to do is to load this first alpha channel, and then press Shift and load the middle that we saved before. Go ahead, create a new layer, and fill it in white. So now we create 3 selection. And the very cool part is that if you have a look here on the side, we actually have shortcuts. Now my shortcuts to zoom in, which is exactly what I'm doing here, is already Command 8. So I'm just gonna create another layer and just put it here in the middle. So Command 8 is not really get used, and we can use the Command 9 in order to trigger the selection. But let's click back on the RGB in order to see our layers fully, and go back on our layers to start playing with this tool. I don't know if you guys have any question. Yeah, that's super fancy. Photoshop allows you to work so fast. So I've got 5 minutes. What I want to show you is how to import the flower. We're gonna do so by going in our folder. So I'm gonna press Command D to deselect. And you guys should have a folder from downloaded as well from the main page that I showed you before, behance.net /challenge/Photoshop. So down here, you can download the file by clicking on Get Started. And I want to show you how to import the files into the libraries because, of course, you can download items from Adobe Stock, but you can also import your own items. And I do so by going here on the library, clicking on this menu and press on New, Create New Library. And I'm going to name it Flowers and click on Create. Then I'm going to go on my flower folder, which should be here. I'm going to click and load all the flower by clicking on the first one, Shift, and clicking on the last one, and simply click and drag in your Photoshop library. That's super amazing. Super fast working with Photoshop. Now from here, all we have to do is grab on one of the flower that we like and click and drag it into the image. Those are already cut out for you guys, so I'm gonna make it even faster. I'm gonna click return. And if you remember, as we said, we have this little shortcut here from the channel. So click back to layers and press Option, Command 9. And here we go. Photoshop magic, both top and bottom selection that we made in the challenge are loaded. So all I have to do here is create an inverted mask in order to make sure that the selection covers the part of the flower so you can see the face again. And you do so by pressing Option and Layer Mask. And here we go. Now, if you want to start to show these flowers over here, all you have to do is go back on the mask. And as you will usually do on your mask, you go ahead and trigger that paintbrush, either by clicking B on your keyboard or here on the toolbar. And if you want to reveal, you're going to be using painting in white. And here we go. We got this little flower coming out of his head. And then you can have maybe some leaf coming out here. Now make sure that to hide with black. So I'm going to go ahead and press X to hide all the area around the head here. Now, guys, we only have a couple minutes. I really wanted to show to you guys how to achieve, oops, I'm gonna bring this back in, how to achieve this effect. You have a lot of different flowers to play with. I'm gonna show you my final again, and I'm gonna load it on Behance so we can put it on our project. Maybe I have time to put another flower here to show you how you can simply load maybe just the bottom part if you want. So if you forget your shortcuts, go back on the channel panel and see if I just want the bottom, it was Command 7. So all I have to do is press Option, Command 7, and it only loads the bottom selection that we have intersected before. And again, click on Layer Mask. Now, if you want to create an inverted layer mask and you forget that shortcut, which is Option and click on the Layer Mask, you can simply go on the Property panel and click on Invert. And that automatically inverts the mask for you guys. Now we just got 1 minute. I really want to share the final image with you. So I'm going to go on my Behance, click on the previous DCC with Cloudy project, press on Edit, and I'm going to scroll down and add my third challenge so you guys can use it as a reference. Challenge number 3. I'm gonna hover underneath and click on the big arrow to upload the file. And that's my final one. So if you're a beginner in Photoshop, make sure that you really focus this challenge into create mask, load, and have fun with the intersection. If you are an advanced user, you can go ahead and start to play with adding a little bit of shadow underneath. You can change the color of the actual face. So I'm really excited to see what you guys will be up to. Make sure that you post it on Discord. Now I'm gonna save my artwork here so you guys can use it as a reference. You can go on behance.net/Cloudy and click on the first project in order to have a look at what I've done. You can also, guys, see here you have my social media. So if you have any question, feel free to get in touch with me and contact me either on Twitter, Instagram, but otherwise I'm always on Discord, so feel free to give me a shout and I'll be super happy to give you feedback. So that's it for today. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. Now we have, I guess, the schedule for later on. So we did our challenge number 3 this morning, and Afterwards, you're gonna keep creating some fun stuff. You have drawing and painting with Victoria Pavlov. Afterwards, another creative challenge in XD with Andrea Hawk, and then design system with Christine Fan. Guys, have an amazing day, and I catch you tomorrow with challenge number 4. Bye, and thank you for joining.